So before we continue with the video, I want to talk to you guys about where I got this shirt from, and you probably guessed it, jerseyfifa.com. They have kindly sponsored today's video and also sent me a load of free shirts for me to check out myself, and I can now really vouch for the quality of these products. They have loads of shirts to offer on the website, so if you are interested, head to the link in the description down below and check out Jersey FIFA for yourself. Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where today I want to discuss the goalkeeper situation at Manchester United. David De Gea, of course, a player who has done such a good job for the club for so long. Over 10 years now he's been in the club, and during that time he has put in some really big performances. He's been one of the key players, a good leader in the squad, and when Manchester United were in a really bad place 5 seasons ago, he was the only reason that Manchester United weren't in a worse place. He really did keep Manchester United afloat at times. However, unfortunately, there isn't room for that sentiment in football. Manchester United are progressing, they are moving forward, they're constantly evolving under Erik ten Hag. And for Ten Hag to really implement his ideas at the club, which, we all want to see, I'm not sure David De Gea is a long-term option. And that is something which a lot of people have been discussing. Now, all of these discussions are taking place at the same time as another goalkeeper has come out and said he has refused to sign 2 contract extensions with his current club, Brentford. It is, of course, David Raya, another Spanish goalkeeper. So today I want to look at his strengths and weaknesses as a goalkeeper, look at whether or not he would suit Manchester United. Is he the right profile? Well, talking of profile, let's tell you about him. 6 foot, not the tallest goalkeeper in the world, 27 years old, Spanish like David De Gea, with a contract which runs out next summer. However, like I said already, it does look like he doesn't want to sign a contract, he wants his move, so Brentford will probably be forced to sell in the summer, and, compared to some of the other goalkeepers on the market, David Raya will be a lot cheaper. A lot cheaper than someone like Diogo Costa, for example. You're probably taking 30 million off the transfer spend. So instantly, it looks like it could be a good option. But like I said, I want to talk about kind of his pros as a goalkeeper, his cons, because there are cons in there as well. And then, does he fit, should Manchester United sign him, in another episode of the Scouting for United series. First up, David Raya as a shot stopper. Goalkeeper's main job, primary job before anything else, is to keep the ball out of the back of the net. Is David Raya good at it? Well, he is pretty decent. He's not in the elite bracket, I wouldn't say. However, he is a good shot stopper. If we're talking from long range, I'd say he's pretty decent. Of course, when he plays for Brentford, I'm aware these aren't Brentford players, but when he plays for Brentford, Brentford often get a lot of players behind the ball, which means that Raya faces quite a lot of long shots. Teams struggle to break Brentford down, so they take a pot from distance. Raya rarely concedes these. He's pretty good at reading the situation, reading the flight of the ball to make sure that he keeps it out the back of his net. Although, one thing which is a little bit concerning is he does tend to parry a little bit. Sometimes a shot will come in from distance, and he kind of spills it into this area. A lot of the time he is able to recover, kind of pounce on the ball and collect it into his body and keep possession for his side. But sometimes it gets a bit loose, and that's when potentially an opposition striker can sniff about. So, in terms of long range, he's a good goalkeeper, good shot stopper, but he could do with working on his handling to try and reduce the parries. In terms of shorter range, very good. This is where I think, as a fundamental of a goalkeeper, when we talk about shot stopping, this is where Raya is really good with his quick reflexes, and actually his save selection. Some keepers often get confused between going with their hands and their feet and their legs in quick scenarios. So if the ball is quickly flying at you, some goalkeepers kind of panic a little bit as to what part of the body they should use. Raya seems to have pretty good selection of how to save the ball with his legs, with his feet, like David De Gea, but also with his hands as well. And I quite like his reflexes. Let's say a ball is coming into the box from a wide area and a striker is headering it. This is where Raya is pretty good. Probably the big save we've seen is one on Mitrovic the other season. Really good save there. Good shot stopper in terms of long range. He stops the ball going in the back of their net, although could improve his handling. Short range, this is where I like him. Reflexes, he's a good shot stopper. And whilst I would say that Raya is a good shot stopper, that doesn't necessarily mean that he is always great at keeping the ball out of the net. And for example, I think in 1-versus-1 situations, he can be a little bit poor. When someone's in on goal, does he make the right decision? Not always. Long range 1v1s are actually something which David De Gea really excels at. Raya I don't think does, and what we can see from Raya at times a little bit is he just goes down a bit too early. He seems to commit, and I don't know what it is, because I'll be honest, I'm not an expert when it comes to goalkeepers, but he seems to have this habit of going to ground early and players dribbling around him. That is something that we've seen several times in the Premier League since Brentford got promoted, but also if you go back and look at some of the footage from the Championship, you can see him getting dribbled around at times, which would be a concern. I think, Manchester United, the way that they play, there are situations where the keeper gets put in 1-versus-1s. I'm not sure Raya really excels in these. So in terms of, long shots, yes, he's going to keep him out the back of the net, although could improve his handling. Close range, yes, his reflexes are very, very good. His save selection is quite impressive. 1-versus-1s, Not so sure, that's the first negative really. I don't think he is great in these situations, which is a problem. Now, whilst that is obviously a negative, it's a downside of his game, it's not a massive concern because all goalkeepers have flaws, all players have flaws, and there are other areas where he makes up for it. And one area in which he really excels is dealing with crosses coming to the box. This is something which, you know, if we're talking about David De Gea, he's really not very good at it, David De Gea. Stopping crosses coming to the box, he ranks awfully in all the percentile rankings, just very, very poor at it. He doesn't command his box at all. You might expect the same from Raya a little bit, because he is only 6 foot tall, which isn't very big for goalkeepers. However, considering he's 6 foot, he has a real commanding presence in the box, and he has that ability when the cross is coming in to take the pressure off his centre-backs, and I think that's something which Manchester United desperately need. When this cross is coming in, this season we've seen Lisandro Martinez put under pressure in these areas. Casemiro often has to drop all the way into the box to kind of help, but that leaves United short on the edge of the box. Having a goalkeeper like Raya who can come claim the cross, take the pressure off his defenders, would be really, really useful for Manchester United. And I think that is something where he would be an astronomical upgrade on David De Gea. It's not even close in this department. Raya is the much better goalkeeper when it comes to dealing with crosses into the box. Another area where I would say he is better than De Gea, and from a decent, by a decent amount, is with dealing with balls in behind the defence. Raya is a goalkeeper who is very confident coming off his line. Execution-wise, is it always perfect? Absolutely not. He has a lot to learn in this area. However, he is confident coming off his line. We can see De Gea often stays right on his line rather than coming out here. Raya is someone who allows his team to play a high line. I think that's what we want to see long-term under Erik ten Hag, is the defence playing quite high. To do that, you do need a sweeper keeper. And Raya is that. He is very good at it. However, the concern for me is that he's very good at it. Don't get me wrong, he is very good at it. But is he in that elite department? Or does he have the potential to be in the elite department? I'm not sure he does. And again, obviously that's a bit of a concern. I think he is good at sweeping, he is brave, he comes off his line, and there are certainly situations where he does stop the danger before it really happens. However, compared to the elite, we're talking Ederson, Alisson, prime Manuel Neuer, they are very good then, once they've kind of dealt with the situation, then playing from there. Raya can often be seen, he kind of deals with it, he sweeps, gets there, but then just puts it out for a throw-in. I'm just not sure he's that top level with his sweeping. And considering I think a lot of people would talk about his sweeping as one of his strengths, it's not high enough for my liking. I think another attribute of Raya's which a lot of people talk about as being his strength really, is his distribution, his ability on the ball, whether that's with the ball in his hand or with the ball at his feet. A lot of people say David Raya is very good with his distribution, and to an extent I agree. I think if you are asking Raya to play a long ball, there's not many better in the business. Whether it's out of his hands in a drop kick, looking for players quickly on a counter-attack, whether it's throwing the ball, very good at quickly setting his team on a counter-attack. He's not a keeper to kind of waste time and let the opposition get back into position. He will quickly distribute to get his team into a good position. Long passes from goal kicks, he is very good at picking out an area. If Manchester United are going to stick with a striker in the mould of Weghorst, Raya is the one to find him on a regular basis. He also has the ability to go over the top of the defence as well, which could be very useful for someone like Marcus Rashford on the left wing. So, it looks like his distribution is pretty good. However, as you can probably tell by my tone of voice, I still don't think he's ideal. And the reason for that is because of his short passing. Now, what we do need to take into consideration when we talk about this is that he is playing for a Brentford team that aren't the most technically gifted, the most technically secure. So they aren't a team that always look to play out from the back. They do go quite direct, and that is why it suits Raya. So, saying Raya is poor with his short passing at times seems a little bit harsh because to an extent he isn't asked to do it. And he did do it more in the Championship. However, I still just think when we watch him, technically, he's not as smooth as, again, the top level goalkeepers. If we're talking about Ederson, we're talking about Alisson, even Ramsdale with his passing, Diogo Costa over in Portugal. They look very confident with the ball at their feet. They look like outfielders. They look like midfielders playing in goal with the ball at their feet. David Raya, with his short passing, does not give me the same energy, the same vibe. And we have seen plenty of situations, you can find the videos, where he does give the ball away poorly in these areas. If you're asking him to play safe short passes, he can do it. He can do that. However, let's say his team is forced backwards and then he's got to try and pick the right pass as the opposition are pressing him, that's when you then got a bit more of a problem. When he's got to try and find his slide pass into Casemiro, that's when he makes mistakes. The pass will go short into the midfielder or to the opposition striker. That's where I'm a little bit worried. And I think, kind of the tone of the video, I'm sure is coming across by now, that there's just too much with David Raya, which doesn't quite sit right with me. I think he's a very good goalkeeper. I think he is closer to the model of what Ten Hag wants than what David De Gea is. Do I think he's a better goalkeeper? depends on the system. I think Manchester United this season, I think Raya would suit very nicely. Manchester United don't tend to play out from the back. They tend to go quite direct, which Raya is very good at. They do invite crosses into the box. Raya would be very good at collecting those. They do play in transition a lot, so Raya's long passing would be very good, that ability to start the counter-attack. However, if we're talking about an evolving team, going from a transitioning team to a team which really dominates and controls, to a possession-heavy team, I'm not sure David Raya's short passing is good enough for that. His shot stopping is good without being in that real top bracket. I think if we look over the years, the best teams, the league-winning teams, have had the best goalkeepers. You know, everyone made those comments when Alisson signed for Liverpool because of the price, but if you look at it, it was signing that elite-level goalkeeper, which pushed them over that extra bit of level to get the Champions League and a Premier League title. Is David Raya at that level? Does he give Manchester United that real boost into an elite team? I don't think he does. So in terms of kind of giving him a rating on should Manchester United sign him, but it's probably a C. He's a good goalkeeper. I think he would be closer to Ten Hag's style than what David De Gea is. De Gea's been brilliant, no offence to him, but kind of stylistically, David Raya is a little bit better. But in terms of what is his ceiling, what is his peak as a player, I don't think it's the level that Manchester United want. I think there's better out there on the market. So that's why for me it's a C. The kind of point which makes you maybe tempted by it is the fact that it's so cheap. I think the fact that he's kind of refusing contract is always going to bring his price down. He's only got just over a year left on it anyway. He is going to be a lot cheaper than someone like Diogo Costa or Mainan at AC Milan. He's going to be a lot cheaper than them. But there's a reason he's cheaper. And it's not just the contract, it's because of the ability. Good goalkeeper, don't get me wrong. Is he an elite Champions League level goalkeeper? I don't think so at this moment in time. I might turn out to be wrong. He might be kind of flawed slightly by the fact that he plays in a Brentford team which isn't as technically secure as other teams. But for me at the moment, Raya isn't the one for me. But I think for today, that's all I've got to say for today's video. Raya, he's got a lot of strengths, but that peak just isn't quite the level that he needs for me. And also there's a few flaws in his game which I just don't think suits Erik Ten Hag's football long term. However, now let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Have I been a little bit harsh? What do you think of his short passing? For me, it's actually quite overrated. I don't think he's very good with short passing at all. Long passing, incredible, don't get me wrong with that. But there's just too many flaws for my liking. But again, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know some other goalkeepers you would like me to check out. Diogo Costa looks like the one for me. I have done a video on him about 4 months ago. I'll probably do another before the end of the season. But let me know some other goalkeepers you would like me to check out as well. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the video. And as always, I will see you in the next one.